Okay, so part 2 of this alphabet photography tutorial is getting your file set up to import all of your alphabet letter pictures into one nice neat file for presentation. So the first thing I want you guys to do after you've created your background layer, I want you to come up to View, and there are a couple things that I'm going to have you do in this drop down. So the first thing that I'm going to have you do is I'm going to have you select rulers. So if you left click on that, and you'll notice here across the top and down my side I've now got rulers, kind of like Microsoft Word. And when I scroll around on my canvas in this area, you can see I've got this little line that kind of tracks where I am on the page. So this tells me where I am in the drawing. And right now, well, our units are set to inches, so I think we set it up 8 by 10 inches. We want to just make sure that our units for our rulers are set the same. So if you right click on that, mine's in centimeters, so I have to go ahead and actually change it over to inches, and you probably will too. If not, you're lucky. Okay, so now I've got it set to inches. So here's my 0,0 point right here, and you can see up top here there's the 0, and then all the way over here there's the 10. So it shows the overall dimensions of my canvas. The next step is that I want you to turn on your grid lines. So you're going to go back into View, and you're going to go to Show, and you're going to click on Grid. Okay, so now I have this little grid on my canvas, and that's going to help me line up all of my images when I start importing them into this this file here. So I'm going to go back into my original file here, and I'm just going to bring it over here, separate them. Okay, and then I'm just going to use the Move tool to move this into my drawing. Okay, so you can see it's very tiny, but if you remember back to the first tutorial, I set my crop to 1 inch by 1 inch. So that's what the size looks like against an 8 by 10 background. I'm just going to use my Command plus shortcut. I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, and now I'm going to move it and position it up in the corner here. So I'm actually going to use my grid lines to make sure that my pictures are evenly spaced throughout. So what you're going to do is you're going to do this for all of your alphabet letters. And one other thing that you can do in here, if say you want to make this maybe black and white or have a sepia tone, you can actually do the adjustment right within this this file. So if you go up to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation, I can make it black and white by just dragging the saturation slider all the way to the left. And you can see here I've got my update. Okay, and then I can say okay and be done with it, and do that for every one so that it's consistent. Otherwise, I could go back in there. Well, let's just say undo hue saturation. I'm going to go to Image, Adjustments, Hue Saturation again. This time I want to choose Sepia. Okay, so now I have sort of a bronze look to my photo. Say okay. Okay, so then you're going to continue doing that for all of your pictures as you get them into Photoshop. So I'm going to quickly go through something here. I'm just going to quickly make a few extra copies of this to kind of give you an idea of what this would look like. Yours, I'm using the same image for mine repeatedly, but for you, all of yours will look different. Okay, so that's 7 across. Remember, there are 26 letters in the alphabet. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly add in my pictures here, pretending like they're all different. Whoops. Whoops. One other thing that you might want to actually make sure that you have turned on, you'll notice that when I'm going across that it's kind of snapping to the grid. If you go up to View, make sure your snap is turned on, and that will it's kind of like a magnet, and it kind of just snaps to the grid. Okay, so I'm almost done here. Okay, so I've got 26 pictures in there, and you can see here I've got some of this extra space left over. So what I'm going to do, actually, I can add 3 more pictures here. Okay. Okay, so if this is what your file looks like, you're probably going to have extra squares over on this side and over on this side. So what I'm going to suggest that you guys do, just to kind of keep everything uniform, once you get to this point, I want you to actually use the crop tool again. And over here, you can just click on ratio, and that will clear your preset from before, and it will allow you to move the selection box to where you want it. Okay, so I've picked it so that my margins are all equally spaced, and once I've done that, I'm going to come over here and just hit the check mark, and I can go back in here and I can turn off my grids. Show grid, I want that off. Okay, so you can see here I have completed my layout.